welcome. And today I'm playing a game called Bleak Dystopia. I don't know that much about this game from the trailer. I think it's about Russia back in the olden days. I'm not sure if this is... the statue looks like Lenin, but I won't say that for sure. But I think it's set to Russia. And like I said, I don't know too much about it, so I'm interested into playing it. And I think it's a short game, like an hour, something like that. I'm not sure. So let's get into it. And I'm sorry, there's going to be a little bit of weaving of the camera today because the controller is set to the modern up-down, which I play opposite of. So,
what was a world where every man, regardless of his contribution to society, had the same as the other man? Some would say it was the perfect example of how the world should be. There would be no worries about tomorrow. Everyone had what they needed. There would be no jealousy as your neighbor had the same as you did. Humans were all equal. There should be no disparities amongst people. That was exactly what the world had come to. After all, no one wanted to live in a world where insecurity was the order of the day. Families fighting for control of dynasties, governments wrestling for more power. Such was the nature of humans, wanting more and more. Did Plato not argue that private ownership of properties and goods would encourage selfishness? Was he not right? The powerful preyed on the weak. That was how it had always been. Oppression and suppression. Tools used to subdue people, like they were slaves. People rebelled, as they had always done to past government, and after long debates on how to move on, they decided that every man should get what he deserved. Equal treatment. That was the new religion. That was what the world had become. Right now, at this very moment, even though great philosophers only theorized about living in this kind of world, they believed it was the perfect world, one without violence, where human beings had learned to subdue themselves and become rational, morally upright people. Resources would thrive because people would be using them the right way. There would be no exploitation, no discrimination. There would be no rich, no poor, just people. The schools where children learned would teach them how to live in a society like that, a sort of brainwashing. If they wanted a happy society, they had to live in harmony with their neighbors. That in itself was not a bad thing, but where was the means to protect oneself if such a system failed? There were no measures in place. For the average Tom, Dick, and Harry, it seemed like a beautiful world. They had their wife and kids, and the government shared the resources amongst everyone as equally as they could. Who knew the world could be so peaceful? Digging deeper into this perfect
I'm not sure if this
glass
dialogue
the
I was
world was
listening to
shaping
it and
out to be. There were some
or doing
cracks,
some more.
cracks that no one wanted to notice. Blissful ignorance. If it wasn't seen, it wasn't real. There were the optimists, those who clung tightly to hope that everyone could live in harmony. People didn't always have to live in chaos. The old world was plagued with wars, suicides, insecurity, and all different vices. People suffered under the tyranny of leaders and powerful men alike. Humans had gotten here already, meaning that everything could be even better. When there was cooperation, there was little that could not be achieved. That was how the Tower of Babel was built, right? Great buildings rose up, beautiful structures got erected, and the cities were pleasant to the eye. Most houses had the same structure and size, treating everyone as equally as possible. It was a beautiful world, one where everyone should feel safe in. Teach the masses contentment. That was the unspoken rule of the government. They had to present a united front.
Describing socialism.
Together they abolished the concept of money.
Director.
What determined what a person got was their worth to the society. It was an almost fail-safe form of ruling. It encouraged everyone to work hard. But human beings could never live with such restrictions for a long time. No matter how much one tried, there would always be the greedy, the selfish, and the cheats. Those kind of people would find their way of lives unappealing and look for ways to get more than they deserved. Crooks have been in existence since the dawn of time. They were always the ones responsible behind any government's upturning. They would look at equality and scoff, not wanting to be at the same level as anyone else. They saw the cracks in the seemingly perfect world and decided that the only way to fix the cracks was to shatter the glass ball and rebuild it from scratch. They wanted to seize control, and they wouldn't rest until they got it. Their beliefs would be that people shouldn't live in a cage. Everyone should be able to control their own lives and get whatever they wanted, even if it meant cheating others. People should be able to choose whether they wanted to be good or bad. They would band together and overthrow the government. Everything that good men and women worked hard to achieve would eventually be destroyed. Whose fault would that be? Perhaps one could attribute it to the rotten nature of humans that some gave into. At first, the government might try to reason with them, thinking there could be a way out, as it usually was. Surely, they would have had multiple attempts by the people to overthrow them or cause unrest. This time around, people would be ready to give their lives to the cause. They no longer wanted to sit home while a bunch of nose-pressed people dictated what they could get or couldn't get. The innocent would be left to suffer the consequences of an overthrown government. It would be inevitable that the government would be the first place of attack. Every successful coup started with taking away the power from those in charge. The military would try to stop them, of course. But when sheer numbers of people revolt, there are only so many that could be killed or arrested. The military would be overwhelmed, and they would either flee from the violence or be destroyed by it. There would be little to no dignity, as people would be reduced to the lowest forms of themselves so they could live. Parents would abandon their children to run, and friends would betray one another. No one could have seen it coming. One day, families would be eating together or playing together. Men and women would be working when utter mayhem would descend. Screams would fill the air as all manner of atrocities would be happening. What would be the impact of the fall of what should have been a perfect world? That's right, chaos. In a world where no one dictated what was right or wrong, and people could get away with anything, chaos would reign. It only showed that humans could not function as reasonable, morally upright individuals without the punishment-reward system. The punishment-reward system, to a large extent, would keep most people on the right side, using their fear of punishment as an incentive to act right. This was once a perfect place, a harmonious society, and it was beyond unrecognizable now. The society had gone to pieces. The once perfect buildings and structures would be destroyed, set ablaze by ill-meaning people. Food would become a precious commodity, and people would hoard and kill for food. Rather than trying to solve the situation, they would want to live for themselves. It would only be a matter of time when food became scarce and the less privileged started to starve. Shouts and screams would fill the air as humans wreaked carnage on everything in their path. Greed and selfishness would always be human nature, exploiting the weak to make themselves feel more powerful. Power. It was just one word, but a lot of great men had sold their souls to the devil just to have it. No one could be equal to the other. People have different sets of skills, talents, and abilities. Everyone has their own separate value system. Treating everyone the same way would actually be unfair. There were many variations on what people want their lives to look like, and it would simply be impossible to please everyone, no matter how hard the effort. The sky would turn gray with all the smoke and ashes drifting around. Damaged cars and properties seemed to be the new normal. People would live in broken down buildings, trying to survive another day. Bodies would litter the street, and it would be as if another world war happened. When there was no law, there was no sin. People would distrust one another for the longest time and would be more content to steal, kill, and cheat others so they could survive. It would become a question of what a person would be capable of when it came to their own survival. Even good people would take bad and evil decisions to ensure their own survival. How much more those who are wicked and evil? Eventually, the world would bounce back and rise from the ashes to build a stable society. But so many lives and properties would have been lost before that could happen. A perfect world, living in harmony, ultimately destroyed by the people it was created for.
Okay, so this. Oh, let's see. This His voice going in the background here, reading some, not like a manifesto or something like that, a description of socialist society. And these people scattered around here, they tell different stories from within this society. I'm guessing this is not... wait, I didn't see him. Let's say that looks like Lenin, but I'm not sure. I don't see any markings. I'm not sure. It could be just like a resemblance, or like this is not historical at all, but just resembling all USSR. Scriptwriter. So there's all these stories about people's lives, and I'm not sure what to make of it right now. They started pleasant enough. Now they're starting to get more unpleasant. Like this, him meeting a girl, falling in love, and then she got poisonous gas somehow. Journalist. Seems like it's the last sentence. So this journalist wrote a book, traveling around the country, wrote a book about what he had discovered and was killed in a car bomb. Teacher. his brother was orphaned after the war and was put in orphanage, and then an American family adopted his brother, and he's been looking ever since. Teaching students about happiness. What did it really mean? We never found his brother. I was looking. Musician. Talented singer, and people adored me. So the musician fell in love with a guy, and they talked about their future, planning their life, and then one day the guy took the money. Now I've quit doing music, and I don't know if I'll ever continue. So, wants to play the cello and wants to explore life more than he does now. Does the country have borders? I want to explore and have answers to my questions, he says. No one over there. So what happened here? Looks like a war, but it looks like a one bomb, basically. So there's one dude or dudette. It's both. Publish many books. Many people say that writers' words have opened people's minds to seeing how the world actually is and working for good. I don't know if I'm just looking for more people. That's one I did. Poet. I like poets. In his 20s and has published many poems. Unfortunately, now I've fallen sick. To take a break from school so I can focus on recovering, getting better. Don't want to be a burden on my parents. Baker, fresh bread. Smell was heavenly. Simply divine. To me, happiness is the smell of fresh bread. Starting to bake bread with his son. He was 6. The pianist. The childhood wasn't good. I think about my childhood sometimes when I do. All I can remember are the screams, the noise, the dust clouds, and the broken windows. When the society crashed, no one saw it coming, and it signaled the end of most families. Not ours, though. We have strived in the face of hardship and will continue to do so. So they... Not really sure where this is going. They're telling stories from this society, which seems like a socialist society that has gone down somehow. Police. No one knows what I go through. I often have to go. There's Yeah, he's got a family, but he has a secret. I often have to go to the psychiatrist. It's just something that refused to go away. Just having difficulty having a calm face around everyone around him. His father committed suicide. His father was also a police officer. His father did a mission as a policeman, killing people, and after that he got depressed and eventually killed himself. So he's having nightmares a lot on behalf of himself and his father. Sometimes he's surrounded by dead bodies, sometimes his father is surrounded by dead bodies. Doctor. He had a happy life. And then something happened. He was happy, not anymore. Became a successful medical doctor. His father was accused of murder, imprisoned. He was accused of some killing political leaders and was found guilty in the court. His mother was ashamed and killed herself. He found her lying dead on the floor, a bottle of pills beside her. Yeah, he's 37 years old and it has just been revealed his father was innocent all along. Feels like a long nightmare. Working on his father's release. There's someone in here too. A nurse. mother has been a soldier, and he was like going out on missions or fighting and then coming back again, but now he's been gone for a long, long time. And her mother is mourning. No call, no letters, not a single word from him. Mother would want to get the news of his death because it's better than not knowing. If he was dead, they could grieve properly. Now they're stuck, not moving forward. Just trouble. Just trouble or settling down with anyone. She's scared that they will leave someday. The scientist. Scientists specializing in agriculture because of helping the country. Grew up without much to eat. Ever since his parents for giving birth to him. I studied or did experiments on agriculture, but what, can't I go out there? But the government hasn't taken note of his findings. So his work to help people hasn't gone the way he wanted to. Because it doesn't seem like the government listens to what he found. History teacher, and teaching history is great for me. for my father defending his rights by forming a group with his friends. Together they fought against injustice and tyranny and made great headway in freeing those that had been deprived of their rights. Remember the meeting in our small house and my father giving a very inspiring speech. I always thought he was some kind of a hero. I published an article in Popular under a pseudonym. Just careful not to use his name because the government could do repercussions. Conductor. Retired conductor. Looking at the people and their lives. At the end of the day, every day is looking at people and figure out that everyone wants one thing. Not money, not jewelry, not anything. They want peace. It's the reason they chased money so much. To reach a point where their lives, they had peace. Genuine peace. Officer. Officer don't have a family, doesn't have friends. Reading files. Don't know what files, but he loves harmonicas, collects them, plays them. I'm 30. Let me see. I'm 38 years old and I don't have anything that drives me or inspires me apart from playing the harmonica. Translator. Raising with 2 daughters. Single parent life is hard. My husband was a lieutenant and he worked in the army. Still know if he's working there. Her husband sent them away to the furthest part of the country to keep them safe. And now he's gone. My girls are starting to forget him. And I try not to let that happen. They stopped asking about him, about when he's coming home. Can we keep going this way? No. It's the last on this side. Athlete. One of the best athletes in the country grew up with a father and mother left. Still yearning for his mother. Father said she lives not that far away. Can we go this way or? Bus driver. What a simple life I have. I was a happy bus driver, satisfied with my life. Studying philosophy when he's not driving the bus. Father is a businessman. His father was driven by greed. Yeah, the father wants to reunite, but he has been refusing. He wants them to take over the business. The aerospace engineer. Unfortunately for me, things like Space Travel Institute don't exist anymore. The most successful person in their 20s. Yeah, I talked to this guy. I read that before. Bureaucrat. He's an agent. Nobody knows he's an agent. Conducts research on the country's defenses. Over here I have no friends. rules of the job. Banker. A happy little life with my happy little dog. My life started to go downhill when I went out to get the mail one day. Came across a strange letter. I was being blackmailed. The letter had clear instructions and told me to transfer money to an online e-wallet. About 5 years ago, I was involved in a hit and run. I was the driver who ran. I'd hit another car and the car had resulted landing upside down. I panicked and drove away. My entire family died, and I was the one at fault. So to the outside world, I'm an average banker, but no one knows I'm being blackmailed. Fashion designer. Life hasn't been good to this guy. My parents died when I was just a teenager, left alone. Living on the street for a long time. I stole and did a lot of things I'm not proud of just so I could survive. design a dress that someone was willing to pay a lot of money for. That's how my life story changed. Maybe one day my dreams will come true. Taylor. When I was 6, my father was martyred. He had to take care of the mother after she was struck or overcome with grief. I'm a tailor, but I don't do clothes. I work on flags, the country flag. Because he was killed while flying the flag. Salesman. Selling colorful candies. Baked from scratch myself. His wife died to cancer a year ago. Disaster that led to many death and destruction. The property has also planted sorrow in the hearts of many. with an interest in history wants to learn if people in the past had it as hard as it is now. As it is now, it's really sad. He's researching his philosophy and history in his spare time. I want to understand better what happened all those years ago. Has to be studied so something like that doesn't happen again. Studied about electronics engineer. Doesn't like getting old. Careful, he has to be careful bending down because of my bones. His children died in a fire when he was 30. I still hear the screams of my children sometimes. The report said that the cause of the fire was unclear, but it was caused by some poisonous gas. I have a secret that no one knows. I own a secret printing house. I always loved to read it after the fire accident. I buried myself in books even more. The idea came to me one day to start up a printing press, and I did. I worked in secret. The reason is because print and distribute books that have been tagged forbidden to be read in the world. I thought that wasn't fair. I thought that wasn't, some English issues here. People had the right to read whatever they want, could decide for their own. Which my life has taken a turn for the better. Grew up with an abusive father. I still have scars from when my father injured me. Left home at 18 and never looked back. So his wife made him happy. She helped me unlearn all the negative ideologies that I still even had after many years. Fisherman. Used to be a fabricator, and I was very good at to the extent that I own my own weapons factory. Designed weapons for defense of the country. Got extremely rich. What changed everything for me was when my son committed suicide with one of the weapons from my factory. A weapon that I designed. I had to close my factory because of everything that happened. I decided to become a fisherman, and that was it. I regretted not spending more time with him. I guess that was part of the reason he killed himself. He felt unloved and unwanted. Toy maker. Learned it from this father who learned it from his father. The parents died in a car accident. His grandfather died when he was 12. life's been hard for me. Pretty tough. Prosecutor. People look down on him, lacking the experience, because he's 34. I am the prosecutor for people accused of being involved in the protests. Protests are basically a crime nowadays because it took a protest. Well, that sentence doesn't make sense. Takes care of his mother. She wants me to get married so I can be happy. Even though I'm being looked down on by many people, my success rate has made them unable to criticize me much. I'm currently working on an important case. 3 children are involved in the case, and personally, I had a lot of thoughts and feelings about it. It took a lot of thought to make the right decision, but eventually they were found guilty. The decision was the supreme punishment, and I never thought it was going to be like that. I still think about it and wonder why I feel unsettled about the decision. I guess it's because they're just children. There's something there is part of the text is missing. Shoemaker. It is tiring, it really is. First, 2 children want to leave the country. It's hard not having the kids around. spy. People don't notice him because he doesn't make a difference. Work is pretty boring. As of now, there's only 2 radio channels in the country. There's only 2 channels now. One of them is referred to a ghost channel. This is because no one knows who manages that channel. The other radio channel is managed by the government. I'm the radio announcer of the second radio channel, the ghost channel. And what I do on the channel is to tell the story of an anonymous spy. It's a story I made up myself, and it's sort of like a daydream, what I think my life should be. Okay, I got here, then what now? I managed to go there. There. So ended up here. Artist. With 2 tubes of paint, I describe what the society looks like on a blank canvas. All I want to do is to paint and smoke some cigarettes. Just make myself feel good. I hear the rumors people carry about me. I say I'm a danger to society simply because I don't make eye contact with anyone or try to relate with anybody. Yes, I'm not a friendly person. What do I need friends for anyway? All I do is that at the end of each year I hang the paintings I finished in front of the warehouse where I live. Sell them. Well, not sell exactly. All I ask for in return is a few packs of cigarettes. Some give it to me, while some give me the money to get it myself. All I know is that I have images imprinted in my mind that I have to paint. Else it would drive me insane. So that's what I do. I paint and I smoke. I feel like the game should end down there. But do I need to go all the way back down again? Can I go up here? Strange. Where I started. Is there more down here that I didn't see? So from what I had to look it up now because I don't know where to go, but from what I can see, there's no clear ending to this game. It's just like when you go around, walk around to see all these stories. So I'll just go. Strange, I don't know. Yeah, I'll look into it, but or splice the video, but I think this is over. I checked out my like trophies and I got like 39 out of 41 trophies. So I will go to the ending. I'll go here. So, Bleak Dystopia. I can understand what they're trying to do with this game. I looked at it like it's like 4 people who made this game. So for that, it's what's it? I can understand what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to educate you on the dangers of the socialist dream. To be honest, like the socialist dreams have been tried in many places now, and it ends up badly every time. It doesn't mean it doesn't have good aspects, but as a governing way of govern big countries, it's never ended not horribly bad. So I don't know. It might be a warning, a little bit of a warning. I'm not a big historian, but from what I've heard about, like the old Soviet revolutions and what happened in Soviet during the socialist era. These are bleak stories. They're way less worse than they could be. There are horrible stories from the old communist Russia, and I understand like that's what they're trying to do. So so representation, yeah, like the setting here, and I like the way they build it, but I'll come back to the game mechanics later. Emotional impact and player empathy. Yeah, I felt like I was drawn into these stories. Like I wanted to learn more about these stories. Narrative depth and symbolism. Not that much. Like the only one is like the statue here is like as it's not, the stories here are not from history. I see that now, that like some of them seems to be from history, but I think somebody talked about a blog or something in there, and then so it's clearly not from back in history. But the one thing that the whole thing reeks of Russia. Like the statue here, like I said in the beginning, I got the Lenin feel of that statue. But like there's several statues of communist leaders around the world that would fit this or look similar to this statue. Moral and ethical dimensions. It is thought piece that is supposed to make you open your mind to the dangers of this ideology and this way of having their society. Character, relationship, and growth. There's not much to talk about there. Social relevance. I would say it is social relevant because there's there will always be young people that will think that socialism is a good idea because it is a good idea on paper. It's just never been practiced in a way that worked. Like, there's always something that goes wrong. It's usually greed. When all the horrors that follows greed. So maybe it's a warning. It should be seen as a warning to people idolizing the socialism or communism. I don't know the how to say it, the minute differences between like this different version of what I call socialism. So mechanics and theme integration. The good thing is like I like, or that comes in aesthetics maybe. Mechanics, it's really, you're walking really, really slowly. The theme integration, like you go around reading these stories. I don't feel there is much mechanics in this game. It's more like of a think piece more than a game. But then again, I do believe games are whatever, as long as you interact with the game and there is some, I say the fail state is like you're leaving the game before you're done with it. Narrative design and player agency. You can go wherever you want. So you got some agency here. And the narrative design is in all the, like, the rubble, like both like the rubble and the people being dead in general. Like you can see something horrible has happened here, but also like the statue, the brutalist building style. It reeks of old Russia, I would say, or Eastern Europe, maybe also like these big buildings, like the way like we make way bigger building in the West, but it's the style. So like I would say I got Russia vibes, or really not Russia. I'm saying it, the wrong word. Soviet Union vibes, I would say. Communist Soviet. Aesthetics and audio design. Aesthetics, I thought aesthetics looks good. Like the aesthetics was like the aesthetics was well done, I would say, for this type of game. Like having one set piece, no loading screens, no nothing like that, which I do enjoy when you don't have that. The audio design was a bit lacking, I would say. The first big part was the narration at the beginning. I don't know if it was by accident, but like you saw, I when the game started up, I just stood there listening because I thought it was a narration, and then it would be over, and then I could start the game. So I thought it was like an intro to the game. So I didn't want to go over and read about it. I think the first one I went to was The Soldier, and I definitely don't like to read at the same time as a narrator is telling a story. But then I figured out like, oh, this thing isn't stopping. It keeps on going. So then I thought like maybe they're reading a book or something through the whole game. Maybe it's like a famous book on socialism that is going to be in the background the whole time. But then it stopped like after a while. So that I thought that is like horrible audio design. I would say to start this narration and then just keep it going and then suddenly stop it. So it would be better off, like, say, either if you paused the narration when you got to a story or to like a pop-up that would fade out, or like have a shorter one in the beginning and like that. I feel like that would be the best ways to like have a short narration in the beginning, and then when you are like in some walking areas, like where you're in between, like say from one person to the next person when you're walking, there I would trigger. It would be better trigger more of this this narration, because like I couldn't grasp half of what was said after I initially started walking around, because like as soon as I need to read something and then you have the narration going in the background, I can't. I tend to pick up very little of both what I read and what I hear. So that was horrible, I would say. Horrible judgment to do it like that. There was a few theme songs going in the background, and they would repeat. And there was like a couple of things that I would say that there was something about like I'm not sure if it was the triggering of the song or something, but something made my head like notice when it started over. Which is, if you're going to do a song that goes on repeat, then you should make it feel like one long song, not that people notice now it's playing again and then again and again. So that's I didn't like that one. But the music, like the theme of the cold air, those things were okay. Like it was, I won't say it was well done, but I just think it was fitting. Pacing and flow. The movement here is really, really slow, which I don't like in these games. And I never got to some ending. I don't know if there is an ending here. I had to stop the game, and I scrolled through several walkthroughs, and most of them were just in it for the trophies. But the longer walkthroughs I saw, they just stop. Like they come to a point and then they just go to menu and go out. So I'm not sure if there is an ending that you can get to a certain point and then you get a ending screen or something like that. Technical craftsmanship. Like since there isn't an obvious ending, maybe I messed it up. That could be. Please tell me if I did. I would say like the thought behind it, I feel like, is a good thought. Like, and the set, the whole set, and I like the set pieces, or the big set. I like that you walk around, you see these dead people, and you get their stories. But there was absolutely no game mechanics involved here. I feel like I would have liked it to be more gamified. Like make me move some stuff around, stuff like that. And also, like, I would like to have these stories read out to me. I don't like reading in games because, like, like a lot of people have trouble. Like, a lot of people have trouble reading in general. I read slowly, but I do read fine. But reading on screens is a thing I don't like that much. So, but there wasn't. I was surprised that the movement, like, I didn't get stuck on stuff as much as I thought I was going to get. I could move fairly fine around the level. That was surprisingly well. So that was technically good. The music was well done. Like fitting theme, the theme of the song was well done to the theme of the game, I would say. But then again, like, there was, like, for a game made by so few people, it was like, I can't expect the world of this game, but I would like to have and the intro should have been a bit different than it was, and also there should have been some ending state, like final, like, yeah. Maybe there was something that if I talked to everyone, like, or talked to more people, then I thought I talked to all people that I saw, or not talked to, but I read about them. And maybe the stories. I thought I was going to see, how to say, I thought I was going to learn more about the lore of what happened in this world. Like you have like the agent, you have the police that have done horrible things. You have the women who lost, or the women who have lost their fathers or their husbands to war, like soldiers. I thought you were going to reveal the lore of the world, what happened in this world, little by little. I thought that was that's what I instantly thought from the beginning. I feel like these stories were like they were painting parts of a picture, but they weren't painting the full picture. I would say I was missing how these stories how these stories fit together more in the world they are set to. So that was a bit lacking there. So let's see, and here coherence of vision. It was. I see what they're trying to do. I would say they didn't manage to do it quite as well as I hoped they would. But they weren't that far off. I would say like they're with a few tweaks. I think this would be a much more interesting game. Or emotional and textural resonance. I think they got that part good. Like that is a like the moving it around, the bleak set piece, the brutalist, the destruction, the dead people. I feel like they in the stories in themselves. I feel like they resonated. Innovation and impact. Not that innovative. And since the game didn't have like I felt like it didn't tie itself all together. Like it didn't like finish itself. It didn't finish the story. So I think it's a game I'm going to forget relatively quick, because there wasn't the deeper lore here. I'm missing the deeper, bigger story here. Personal takeaway. I'm glad I played the game. It won't get like the best remarks for me. It's a short game, so yeah, it took me a couple of hours with these talks before and after. So 1.5 hour, one hour and 45 minutes. It wasn't a waste of time. It wasn't that, but it was on the lower end on the what is it? The grades, I would say. So could have done a little bit, changed it a little bit, and it would jumped many places, I would say. So maybe I quit it too soon. Maybe there's something there I didn't catch. I won't say that. So, but now I played it. I feel like it has its place. Like the topic here, like warning people about what communism and socialism can lead to. That is like I say that is we need these things to show, especially young people that get seduced by the thought of everyone sharing everything and everyone being happy and no leaders controlling everything. And like, yeah, that's never how it looks in real life. It looks really good on paper. This is what I say. And like I was like my country is like we have like the Nordic model, which I feel like takes some of the good parts of socialism and then some of the good parts of capitalism, and we mix it. And we have a clear divide of what should be the socialist part and what should be the capitalist parts. And I feel like that is in my opinion, for a small country, this is the way to go. But yeah, that's my political belief. But maybe someone will do socialism and it will work at some point in the future. But I think people's nature will not let it become the utopia that it sounds like it's going to be, and that it could be on paper. That was my take on the political theme. So that's it for now. Play games and heal.